Alright guys, here we've got ourselves the Freewing A-6 Intruder, one of my favourite aeroplanes. Look, what we're going to do today, we're going to look at changing the EDF unit and ESC over in the jet. Shouldn't be too much of a difficult job, but what the story behind it is, I took the original Freewing Outrunner motor out of the jet and put a FMS 100 amp speed controller and 2000 kV 80mm motor in runner, hoping they'll give me a bit more efficient flight and get a bit more flight time. A bit of a silly assumption, I guess, considering it's a much higher amp draw on it, but I figured I might not use the same amount of power. But lo and behold, I'm getting actually shorter flight time, so I'm actually going to change the EDF motor back. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to change the EDF back into back to the Freewing Outrunner 80mm system. So first things first, I've got the jet set up here on the old, good old Bunnings made plane stand, which will serve us well for the activities today. So I'm just going to talk you through what I'm actually doing. All right, let's begin. All right, so it's a bit of a bird's nest of cables in here, guys. First thing we actually do is actually disconnect the ESC from the receiver. I'm using an orange RX R82 820X V2. Really great receiver, actually. Like a lot of the other orange RX ones are pretty rubbish, but these kind of these R series ones with the 6, 7, 8, 9 channel ones are actually really good receivers. Can't really complain about them. They've served me quite well. So there's the throttle channel here, right next to the bind channel. I'm just going to pull that out and free that up now. Again, I've got the bird's nest of cables going on here because it was a super long throttle cable, so I'm just going to have to cut those. Now that they've freed that up there, it's going into the speed controller, which is just located there. I'm just going to leave that free for a moment. I'm just going to pull those through once we've got the speed controller and the motor free. All right, so now we're going to flip this bad boy over and rest it nicely on the rack there, watching the ring fences. All right, what I'm going to do is actually remove this section here. So remove the keeper of the EDF. All right, so the cover for the EDF is just held in by 2 screws. And what I actually have to do, I have to really give it a bit of a, to really sand back the housing here to get this FMS fan to actually fit. It's really unfortunate that that it's not really giving me the performance I need. I think probably in a slicker airframe, much like a Gripen or something like that, it might actually do a much better job. But yeah, so we'll have to look at removing this now. Right, it's held on by 4 screws. The issue we're going to have are these plates here that are held in, so we have to try and look at removing those or sort of getting around them somehow. So I've got my little tools when I need for them, my little magnetic screw thing and my screwdriver. So I'll get the first one out. Now I don't know how I'm going to go getting this out on an angle. I think I'm really barking up the wrong tree here. So I think I might have to remove these plywood plates in order to achieve that, which is rather unfortunate because they're stuck in there. I made sure they were stuck in there rather nicely. Now I stuck them in there with foam tack, so they should be relatively easy to come out. But look, here we go. And lo and behold, I'm ripping half the freaking foam out. Oh well. So that'll be on that wing. Oop, that one came out a little bit easier. You can see the foam tack on there. I'll have to re-stick that back on. What you could probably do is just peel that foam tack off and stick it on afterwards. We'll keep those aside. Just going to put these aside over here. All right. Yeah, the A6, I think it's a really lovely aeroplane. It's quite a stable platform, not the fastest thing in the world as you'd expect from an A6, but really is a lovely aeroplane to fly. Just wish it had a bit more flight time. Kind of limited with the battery sizes of these things, so sort of limited around the 4,000, the 4,500 sort of size batteries. But so I get about 3.5. I used to get about 3.5 minutes out with the old setup, which I'm going back to now, which is 3.5 to 3 minutes 45 is not too bad. All right, now so we've got that. We've freed the actual EDF up itself. You can see that's actually loose in there. What we need to do is actually loosen the ESC. So it's a bit of a tricky one, as the ESC is actually in there. So you can see the ESC is in there. It's actually secured by 2 screws. So we'll have to get those out. Well, we'll just loosen those out, and we can pull the thing out. You can also see the wing spar crossing there as well. So, all right. So what I'm just going to gently pry apart the sections there, and just unscrew. It's a bit hard to see. A bit tough to see there. Just going to unscrew. Just loosen it off. You don't want to go all the way. Just want to loosen it a little bit, so they don't come all the way off. There we go. Right, that should loosen it up a bit. So let's go and see if we can move that fan out. Now, I'm just going to feed the ESC through here. Oh, there we go. All right, out you come, little fella. Oh, okay, I see a problem. We've got bailed up the ESC wires here. Might not be able to get those through. Well, I'm just going to take this tape off here. I always tape up these connections, guys, just so they don't come loose in the air and don't spark across. Not sure if they actually will, but it's just my little paranoia going on there with electricity. So it might be just easier just to pull those out. Uh-oh. Flooding the aircraft. Not good at all. For those that don't know, FOD is foreign object damage. So it's what happens when you leave rags or tools or something inside an airplane after you finish fixing it, and that then goes and rattles around an engine and damages something. So I'll get the FOD out of here, which is the little bit of electrical tape. Great. No FOD monsters here, guys. All right, I'll unplug the fan unit. And look, you can see it is a beautiful fan unit, the FMS one, really lovely. The 2000 kV motor is just gorgeous, but it just doesn't suit this airframe. I don't think we'd get really the best out of it, so I think it would suit something better, something slicker. I do have my eyes on a Freewing Griffin, but hey, look, we'll see how we go with that. All right, so let's see if we can actually squeeze this ESC out of here. I don't think we're going to be able to do it without cutting that wire. All right, maybe. There we go. Let's just straighten her out a little bit, as I say. Just going to work it through. I'm going to pull the wire. I'm pulling a wire there. Got to be careful of that. All right, here it comes. There we go. Again, 100 amp Predator ESC in there. It was bloody brilliant ESC, really solid. But it's just going to suit a probably slicker jet, I reckon. So yeah, but certainly can recommend these. I believe these are actually made by Hobbywing, but yeah, so it's my leftover unit there. I'll have to buy myself another jet for that one. All right, now guys, this comes to the time we've got to fit the original motor system in there. Now, this plywood doubler in here, which holds the ESC, is a bit of a pain in the ass, and I really need small hands. So to get in there, where's a carny when you need one? Small hands smell like cabbage. For those of you who know, it's a line from Austin Powers. I'm not actually ragging on carnies. All right, let's do this. You can see it's an outrunner because the case spins there. All right, here we go. You know what, maybe it's worthwhile doing this. Getting this and feeding it in between the EC5, just so I can get it through in one foul swoop. Improvise, adapt, overcome, people. There we go. Push it through, push it through, push it through. All right, we can see where we're going now. You can see here, there's a channel here where those cables from the back of the motor need to sit. That's the other side of the top of the airframe there. So we're just going to push this down, keep sort of working the ESC back underneath the wing spar. There we go, we're sitting there nicely. All right, now I'm going to just pop this down here. Probably have to go in tail first. I reckon it's probably a smarter move. There we go. And look, oh my gosh, it fits like it should. See the EC5s just fitted through out there. We've got those all out where they're supposed to go, so that's looking really good. All right, let's just give this a bit of a pull, make sure the wires are where they need to be. Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good there, guys. Guys, I think that'll be fine once I screw the actual EDF unit down. I don't think it's really going to be a bit of a problem. Cables look like they need to be sitting, so I think we're good to go. All right. What I do now is check the connections and connect the original ESC. So you see here how I just popped that cable in between the EC5 there to feed it through, just so it sort of came all through in one foul swoop rather than having to feed it individually. Now let's get these bird's nest of cables out the way and we can sort of see where we're actually at. For those who are wondering, this is actually the battery telemetry connector for the Orange RX unit I've got in here. Really good unit, guys. Really can recommend the Orange RX transmitters. This particular series, the R6, 6, 7 and 9 series. The 615s I think are pretty rubbish. So I've had a lot of guys lose aircraft because of the dodgy receivers, but this receiver has been bulletproof, and I've had it in a few different airplanes. Anyway, so there you go. That should be all hunky-dory. I can give it a bit of a test. Alright guys, I'm going to connect power to it now, see how she goes. Now always do, if you change an ESC or a motor setup, always do a bit of a calibration on the throttle there.
Flight pack 0.0 volts.
So we've got power, guys, that's really great.
Takeoff flaps up.
See if we've got a little bit of juice before it cuts off.
0.
She appears to be on the go. Fantastic. All right, all we've got to left to do now is actually screw the bottom hatch in, and that'll be it. But I'll wait for the glue to dry before I do that. All right, guys, it's the next day, and we're just going to see how we did with our the wood section here that we glued in. Make sure that's all nice and secure. Yeah, it looks that way. You can sort of see it in there. It's not done too badly. The other side there too is pretty good. Yeah, so that'd be good enough. So now we get our EDF hatch here. See, they've got the screws already in there, and I'll just pop that in. Now, This is not a structural hatch, guys, so all it has to really have on it is just a just gently sort of tie the screws down it until I have them super tight. Just get them to grip a little bit, and you'll feel them go tight. Like that, and that's really all you need. You don't really need to force it ridiculously. There we go. Nice and secure. All right, so that's basically it, guys. That's how I guess Soldier's 5 on how to replace an EDF unit on an aircraft. I mean, I'm putting the original unit back in here because of the performance of the sort of the lack of what I was after with the other unit. But yeah, so that's really it. So it's just a matter of getting the unit back in, screwed in properly, and yeah, works for me. Cool. Well, I'm going to flight test this bad boy tomorrow. We'll see how she goes. Thanks very much for watching. And like, share, subscribe, all that typical standard YouTube stuff, and leave a comment if you found this helpful, useful, or interesting. Cheers.